Yeah, fucking.
This thing is terrible.
I was gonna break out the Xbox one.
Yeah, you guys made fun of my head.
Try not to make a baby up there, old man. You know what that's like.
Oh yeah. Don't ever drink now that you're a father. Life is miserable.
Yeah. It's been a fucking month now, Andy.
Yeah.
Ooh. She's all good. You went to the doctor the other day. Her weight's good.
Yeah, weight's good. We had to go to the hospital the other night, but
she's all good.
Yeah.
Cool. Man, she's just wearing you out, huh?
It's up at 4 o'clock this morning.
God dang. I was up at 4 o'clock this morning too, but a different kind of story.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Fucking, I don't know if I can say it, but the most workaround way for a girl to tell me herpes just before we had sex.
And you still did it because you
Hell no.
You make poor decisions.
I ain't no doozle. Hell no. But it was the most, here's the thing. I have cold sores, but not on my mouth. I was like, then that's not a cold sore. And she's like, well, you can think about it. And then I was like, no, it
is a cold sore. It's just herpes.
On a vagina.
You and Mike would get along just fine.
She was such a great girl. But
yeah, of course. Just you don't want luggage.
Hell no. That's an extra kind of baggage I don't need. There's a 2 baggage limit in Jarek's fucking carry-on, and that girl had a 3rd and a 4th. Fucking too mucho.
No, that's why people start having committed relationships, Jarek.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like the end goal is a committed relationship, but I'm traveling through the woods becoming a Unabomber. What am I going to go do? Hey, I live out of my car with my dog. You want to
bomber with you?
There's
be the bi bomber.
Oh, great!
The bi bomber.
Or the tranny bomber.
The tranny bomb. Is your wife listening in on this?
Yes, and her mother.
Well,
that's nice. Keep your mouth clean, Jarek.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That's fine.
There's got to be earmuffs.
The baby's asleep, so we'll let that slide.
Okay, tell us when we're going live.
We already went live.
We went live like 5 minutes ago.
I got to tell you how technology works. Is the camera running? Is the
I don't see a red light.
Nobody said action.
Action. Gee, Ribs, this is our 9th one. I don't think there's ever been an action ever. Oh, shit. Right. Did you start school up again, Ribs?
Yeah, this was the first week the kids came back.
Are they all little assholes?
Growing up so fast.
You know, honestly, yesterday we had a debrief with the senior teachers, and we felt it was the best group of seniors we've ever had. These kids have been at our school since 8th grade, and I think that...
Oh, is it the first generation?
Yeah, so I think they're beginning to really get... Because our school's different. It's really a personalized learning environment, and if you don't take responsibility for your learning, you get nothing out of it.
I'm pretty sure you all thought we were good kids, too, and then we just drank and then beat each other up and threw parties and houses.
Yeah, true.
Well, I say they're good because they actually, yesterday when I opened it up to discussion, they actually discussed. They're staring at me as a bunch of mouth droolers.
Oh, okay.
They actually started to converse, and I was like, there we go.
I don't know.
How's Red for Ed going?
Oh, yeah, that's a ton of fun. As they're all failing miserably because they're not making any money.
I mean, what should a teacher make? You're already making more than a majority of Americans.
We're in a tough place here, guys. I had a buddy 3 weeks ago who was the Arizona Teacher of the Year 4 years ago commit suicide. And he committed suicide because society isn't valuing what he does.
That seems like a cry, Ribs. I mean, you cannot sit here and be like, society doesn't have to validate what you do. You get validation off of
if you're doing things and society doesn't have he was getting a lot of hate mail because he was pretty active in the Red for Ed, and he was getting a lot of this hate mail about, hey, But, you know, during the school year, these people are not working 9 to 5. If you're a good teacher, you're not a 9 to 5 person.
Absolutely. That's why I think the pay should
And
be
in the summer
scalable.
months,
I don't think that an
summer
art teacher
class.
should be getting the same pay.
The whole thing is performance-based.
Exactly.
Give me a performance-based pay, because there's also children that are going in doing it.
Don't bitch about it being a testing environment, because the only way you can measure performance
is by testing.
And everybody is telling us we're turning these kids into test morons, and we've killed critical thinking.
Oh, of course we've killed critical thought, but yeah, our college critical thought atmospheres? Critical thought atmospheres wouldn't have safe spaces. It's a form of indoctrination in the general sense. The school is an indoctrination, so you get used to a 9 to 5 schedule. It's not about the education.
Well, that's why it's failing, because the modern world isn't a 9 to 5 world.
Not anymore, absolutely. But it's a con-style learning. It's what we've already talked about countless other times. I don't even think there's gonna. I think your teacher friend who's winning the Arizona Teacher of the Year is going to have a course. Would have had a course that would have been Arizona's top course in whatever field he was in. When we go to a con-style learning and kids are actually able to explore electronically, you will have merit-based teaching, because you're not going to just go watch the YouTube, the lectures of the person that's just a dud saying read your books.
He was a great science teacher, and he used a lot of Code Academy to help teach kids how to code.
So he did it appropriately. He's not one of these 23-year-old things that went in and started to say, I'm just doing this for the money.
He hadn't had a pay raise in 7 years. Now imagine earning what you were earning 7 years ago, but every year your healthcare costs go up.
But did he also ever say anything about how other teachers were making equal pay for mediocre work because of tenure? So he is silently complicit in the problems of...
There's no tenure in Arizona.
There is no tenure in Arizona, but there's also
right to work
a union, but they have one.
How come they couldn't fire any of those teachers for any of those racist comments then? I mean, it's not like Arizona was chopping people out. Like, I never saw a teacher get fired, even though how incompetent they were.
Hi.
Well, you're talking about Paradise Valley. Hi.
Yeah, what's up, Steph?
Paradise Valley was the reason I got involved with education. I watched how the top performing school district of Arizona was a laugh factory. When they kept recycling, when that one racist teacher that you and Zach had got recycled out of the middle school and sent over to the high school, I was livid about that.
That's what they do. It's like the same as cops. After you do something stupid, they just recycle you to another precinct, and nobody thinks that blockchain transparency would be following a teacher's track record and be following you would have their students equivalency test tied to the teacher. You'd be able to see their efficiency, whatever school they went to, and then you'd be able to choose, hey, do I want to put my kids in a class where the teacher has fucking 50% pass rate and no engagement? How much, like...
Oh, I totally agree that there's room for improvement in education. I'm just saying that the problem with education is that you've got a bunch of politicians sitting at the Capitol who are expecting certain results, and the only way to get those results is to be creative, and they won't give the money to allow a creative environment. You can't be creative when you've got 35 kids in the class.
So why don't we take public education away? Why are we having a government? It happens with our roads. It happens with every other form of government. Why would we put education in it and then be shocked when they say, we want these results, but we're going to stymie your growth with the
money they use is inappropriately used.
Huh?
The bonds and overrides aren't used correctly. They're given to these people, and I don't
know what the bonds and overrides are. You got to fill me in, because I don't know much about the education.
That's how a bond is how a new school is built, or how additions are done to a school. Like, I'll be honest with you, why we make every high school, new school look like a mini college campus is ridiculous. You drive by this new school that was built here in Salt Lake, and it literally looks like Mesa Community College. You're like, it's got a huge football field, a huge soccer stadium, a huge baseball, a huge lacrosse.
Yeah, exactly.
So you walk for a mile across different facilities to get to the football field, because I went last Friday to watch.
Those facilities being used by the community. So are those being used by any semi-pro leagues? Are those being used? So they're just
being used by youth football, youth baseball.
So the youth leagues are used. it's just it's an astronomical. It's like what Andy said when the PV got Paradise Valley District got all those millions for school upgrades, and they all built brand new football fields.
$8.2 million. Every high school got a $1-point-something million football field, and they're all destroyed already.
And worse than that is they're not even. Arizona's not even a football area. I mean, no. North Canyon didn't even have a freshman team when Daryl's kid went there because they didn't have enough kids to try out. And so we're building these massive facilities where the public opinion is they don't even want their kids playing football because they're going to get brain damage.
Well, and then the further north, because my cousin, her son is going to, I think it's Cactus Shadows. And
your schools.
He's a really good football player, so I get filled in on stuff, but they actually have a 4-year program. So I think as you go further away from the inner part of the city, and now North Canyon is kind of the middle of Phoenix.
Which is weird, right? It was North Phoenix, and now it's like Central Phoenix.
Yeah. So I think that that's just the demographics because it's who's going to the school. And
I mean, North Canyon is an academic school. PV is an academic district. It's about IB. It's about getting a 5.0. It's about
not even about that anymore.
Really? They don't have the IB?
Getting these kids into these programs because you can send a kid to a regular AP program and not have to worry about doing any other classes at North Canyon. I heard the kids aren't even going anymore.
For the IB? Because it's just not worth it?
Yeah, it's not worth it anymore.
Well, I remember when Oz got a football scholarship worth more than every academic kid's scholarship, and even though they were IB programs. So, I mean.
Well, that's also because he was like 6'7".
Oh, I'm just making fun of the fact that, I mean, athletics will get you fucking way further in free education than education will.
Well, as we talked about this, honestly, Andy, have your daughter play a sport because if she's even just a starter, not even like all-state, just a starter, you will be able to find a full ride scholarship for her at a college because I can guarantee you that the numbers I see now with young women youth participation in sports, they're still not meeting the 50% that Title IX requires at college.
They force the 50% of the college, and they're not able to meet.
Well, that's the law. And there's not 50% of the girls going there that can qualify for the scholarship because they're not playing sports.
It's sad because they actually got rid of all the wrestling programs, a lot of wrestling programs in collegiates because they had to make way for a female sport. And
well, it's like soccer also boys have to pay partial. There's no full ride soccer.
Full rides, huh?
It's only basketball and football are full ride. If you're in water polo, if you're in lacrosse, if you're in soccer, it's partial scholarships.
Jeez, man.
The expensive travel sports don't get you scholarships anymore.
Those expensive sports. So, yeah, I could see it. They probably don't bring the view. I mean, football, basketball.
Like those random ones to get a scholarship, you have to be on a travel team and play outside because the schools can't afford to put kids into stuff. It's like when hockey was in our high school, it was North Canyon, Shadow Mountain, and Horizon as a team. It was a club. It wasn't even an actual sport.
Right. It was a club you guys played. I remember that. Wasn't it rollerblades too, or was it ice?
Ice. It was at Aussie Ice before the guy got stabbed in the throat.
Huh. Classics.
Mm-hmm.
No, I actually wish I would have played hockey. I was really good on the ice. I didn't know how to stop. I would just run into people. Should have old man ribs.
Well, the truth is that when you guys were 6, 7, 8, and we were living over there in Mesa, to get ice time, because there was only that one ice rink, you guys would have had to get up at 3:30 a.m. to go and to be on the ice at 4:30, and you didn't have the commitment to do that.
Hell no. I would have done it for boxing. I was thinking a lot. I was like, it sucks that there was that. Not sucks, but it sucks that there was a karate place down the block, and because that's where I had to go was karate. It would have been so much better to be in just boxing. I'm not a fan of kickboxing. Wasn't a fan of karate. I mean,
well, why don't you get into it now?
Oh,
it's a good way to stay in shape.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's probably as soon as I actually probably landed a place where I want to actually like maybe stay, probably go next to a gym and do boxing.
Because I asked Zach, I saw Zach 2 weeks ago. I asked him the same thing. I go, why don't you participate in some kind of martial arts? I get that Kempo got boring for you, but there's tons of things that will keep you in great shape.
Especially grappling. If you just went to a grappling gym, or because I would do grappling because I wrestled and then grappled in the military against some other kids. So it's like grappling's good.
You automatically do grappling and you get MMA now.
Exactly. That's so funny.
Bunch of idiots.
I didn't even realize, like growing up, it's like when UFC was still bare knuckle and coming out and had a wrestling background and had grappling background. I was like, should have just transitioned in fucking MMA. Like grappling really back then. You had the Hoist Gracies, you had all those guys coming out, go hit up a gym. But that is some dedication for no money for a long time. Those guys that built that sport, man, they were violent dudes for fucking pennies.
Well, you've got to remember, Riley started doing it in it was like 2 years of college, and he just got neck surgery last year, and he's not even 30 yet.
Jeez, just because you're constantly going through the training of it?
Just killing yourself.
Compression, all that stuff. Yeah, that's true, too. That's very true, too. Your boy Riley's a big dude, though.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be getting neck surgery before you're 30.
Hell no, you shouldn't. No. Shouldn't be getting any surgeries. Well, except for shit like what you had to get that was actually medically done. Well, how much of your penis did they remove again, Andy?
All of it.
All of it. I thought so. I thought it was just I thought it was a taint surgery. Next thing you know, they're lopping off my favorite object.
Yeah, right.
You two. I just don't want any more prolapsed anus photos. Take me off of that.
That's for your son.
Take me off of that message list.
Honestly, Ribs, it breaks my heart every single time. And for a while, he got Mike Caruso in on it. So every single time I'd open my phone, there'd be butthole photo or some prolapse. I was like, where do you guys find these photos? Does what was that? Rotten, was it Stank Cheese? What was that? RottenCheese.com. There was that site. Was it Rotten.com? Yeah, that's probably it, huh? Back when we were kids.
But yeah, with all the dead bodies and stuff.
Classic good times. I remember walking in and Zach and Scott were watching some beheading video. And they're like, hey, there's a guy, look, Jarek. I was like, no, this is real. And I had to walk away. I was like, this is fucking real. That was before YouTube had any kind of algorithm for extremist content in the slightest.
Before even YouTube was even around.
Well, yeah, you're right. It wasn't even YouTube, huh? It was just some other weird video sharing site like Newgrounds or the Rotten and then the Cheese or one of those ever fucking weird ones that had the creepiest photos. And then you'd have people over at your house and they'd make them as your fucking backgrounds on your computer.
Yeah.
All right, so what else are we angry about?
I just found out a hospital security guard had sex with a corpse in Tennessee.
Huh.
That made me giggle.
Did you see that there's been 400 TSA employees arrested for stealing things from passengers, and they have not caught one single terrorist?
Yeah.
So stealing out of their suitcases?
All the shit we were saying that everybody was calling us conspiracy theorists about how they're going to start breaking out TSA body scanners at subways and bus stations. Guess what just happened in L.A.? They just partnered with
New York.
Body scanner?
Yeah, they just partnered with the biggest TSA body scanner. And so you won't even have a choice. You walk through and it detects it detects wave frequencies off your body and any objects on it. There's not an option of the pat down. It's like you're presumed guilty. Travel security agency now means you're going to have to show your real ID just to be able to get on a subway or a bus pretty soon. I mean, now you can't even go get on a plane. Since January 1st, 2018, you can't get on a plane without a passport or a real ID. So
we've got
the airport and
you know what? ID. Let me interject in this. In Utah, they went along with the real ID, but they didn't put the gold star on the front. They put it on the barcode, and nobody in TSA slides the barcode. And so none of our IDs are acceptable
because they don't have the little.
Because we don't have the star.
Why do you guys? The population go along with this. This is my shocking point. We have the right to free and clear travel, and the fact that now we have to show citizenship to travel between state to state is exactly against everything to the right to free and clear travel. And everybody's just wantonly going out. Dude, that's why I'm only doing it with a passport. It's like, fuck you. You want me to get a different ID that verifies that I'm now safe to travel? Go fuck yourself. It's demeaning to be an American citizen. And the fact that we're just like doing it is fucking shocking.
Well, you're still living in that state, so have fun with no straws.
Oh, well, did you see what they did though? They took so they got rid of single-use straws, right? And then they put paper straws
in a plastic bag.
In plastic bags. In plastic wrap. It's like, what did you do? You just replaced paper single-use plastic straws with paper single-use plastic straws. They just reversed the packaging. Didn't make sense. It didn't make sense.
But that's the loophole of the law.
You want to hear about the poop hole that just happened in San Francisco? They got a $800,000. It comes out to be like $2.3 million between their poop brigade that goes and picks up poop and their needle cleanup crew. So
they earned $60,000 a year to constantly go around and spray down poop off the streets.
It's $183,000, and it's a 6-man team.
A year?
Yeah, because it's hazmat. And in reality, I mean, because they made public defecation legal, I mean, that's hepatitis, that's AIDS. If you're fucking manhandling feces, that is the disease carrier of man. And so to me, it's a hazmat job. One, I don't think they should have these policies in the first place, but the fact that you can take a dump on the streets right out in the open and it's not illegal. It's not even like considered like you're exposing yourself. It's just like you can just take a dump and you shoot up.
That's insane. That's the Middle Ages.
For like 4 years.
That's why people were dying in the Middle Ages.
I know.
There was shit on the street.
Everywhere. And it carries disease. And like it's the most compact city already. What is it, a 7-mile diameter or something like that? It's like New York City. So you think poop just fucking doesn't dissipate in the air and you don't breathe in those particles? You think that it doesn't? You don't think that the dregs of society, the ones that are sharing needles and doing drugs, are the ones that would be the most exposed to diseases, and now they're taking dumps in the streets? Like, it is a sense of logic that has disappeared. I get the concept, because we shouldn't be criminalizing drug users. We shouldn't be saying they deserve to die in the streets. I totally fucking agree. But then if we're just going to hand out needles, why not just make facilities that if they're going to use, they have to use in the facilities? So these needles aren't all over the fucking streets.
How about using all the stores and Kmarts that are getting closed and turning them into shelters?
That's a good one too. Well, the government's going to have to get involved.
With all these empty big boxes. I mean, I live in one of the fastest growing cities in America, and we'll drive by old Kmart's and old Sears, and they're building somewhere else new things. And I'm like, why aren't we reutilizing? Hey, that's good. Do that on public broadcast.
Eventually, you're going to have to destroy that building. It's a 30-year-old warehouse. Probably way more, it costs way more to keep running electricity-wise with the AC units to renovate. I mean, how long have they been empty? I totally agree they should be community co-ops. Same with malls. We're going to have to do something. These open buildings are not like, the only reason Sears is still around is because they own their land. Kmart just didn't have the same, like, the reason malls still exist is because the anchor stores around it actually own the fucking land of the store. They're not, if the Sears was just a leaseholder, you think there would even be one Sears left? Fuck no. There'd probably be one. I'm actually going to go visit the last Blockbuster. It's up in There's one Blockbuster left in the whole.
No, it closed.
No, there's one left.
No, the one in Alaska closed.
No, but there's one in Washington. There's still one. There's one lone standing one. There's a lone Blockbuster. And it ain't going anywhere. DVD stores wouldn't have disappeared. If Blockbuster would have been smart, they would have recognized that they just pissed in Netflix's face and it backfired. If they would have saw that there was a gaming opening, because the only option was purchasing for games, so they should have pushed a little more towards gaming, got rid of their late fees like they did towards the end, and then scaled down their stores. They're the definition of
their money into that online. They basically made their own Netflix,
right? And that's what I'm saying. Instead of trying to combat Netflix after they pissed in their face when Netflix said, "Hey, we'll handle all your online and DVD stuff," and Blockbuster said, "Go fuck yourself." Like, once they realized they made a mistake, the Blockbuster said, okay, they did what Red Lobster did. Like, Red Lobster said, okay, we got to close all unprofitable stores right off the top. Otherwise, we're going to lose the whole chain. And then anyone that is going to stay in business has to be an owner franchisee. It's no longer going to be a chain restaurant. You're going to be a franchisee. Blockbuster could have done the same thing. I mean, there's a need for people like going to DVD stores. They like browsing. I mean, how many people spend an hour and a half searching Netflix, or you're never satisfied? There's so much shit on Hulu. You're going to a Redbox. I was in LA. There was a DVD store, old school DVD store, busy every single day. You have $1 DVD night. You sell candy. You sell whatever else. There's a social thing that people like to movies about seeking a movie out. Blockbuster would have spent smart. I think they'd still be around.
Yeah, people miss the camaraderie, the social part of looking at movies.
Because there is no social part about it
I
anymore.
hear so many people talk about that. They're like, so it's almost like we'd be ripe for that type of thing again. But
it's happening. If you go to Vegas, there's one, and they have giant barrels of candy that you can fill up by the pound, you know, and then you're gonna search all the DVDs. The thing is if you call ahead and you say, do you have this DVD, and it's not on Netflix and it's not on anything else, they'll request it and they'll be there, you know. So there's I totally see the market. It's like everyone's saying, oh, you know, movie theaters are going to disappear. Well, no, we're seeing that movie theaters are going more towards a drinking and dining experience where they'll bring you food right to a table. Your chair reclines now. You know, they took out the seats so that you don't have to pack a theater. They put in big leather recliners so it looks packed, and it costs a little more. It's $10 for the movie instead of $8. So the numbers probably work out for these dudes. It's a better experience for the moviegoer. For whatever reason,
that's going to change too, and they're just going to put them right to your TV.
Speaking of movies,
that's what I'm saying, Andy. People don't want to just watch on their TV, man. Movies are made like, I get there's a group of people that would just watch movies straight to TV. That's what I do believe direct to video and direct and to the screen at the same time will come in our lifetime, and it will be effective. It won't mess with the movie numbers, because I don't want to go see I Am Legend on a TV. I want to see I Am Legend for the first time on a big fucking screen. If I'm going to go see Jurassic Park Annihilation, I'm not watching it on my 72-inch. I'm going to go watch it on the massive screen. Like, I'm going to go to Cine Capri. I'm going to go to something like that. Like, if I'm going to go watch a movie I actually want to watch, I'm not going to watch it on TV. I'll watch something on TV that I just didn't want to put the time, like The Meg. I'm probably going to – I want to see The Meg in the movie in theaters, but I'm not going to go. I know it's good. I've heard it from so many people that it's good.
Zach and I saw it with Ikaika 2 weeks ago.
I've been gaming with Ikaika for a while. That's why I've been playing Fortnite. Before he started school. It was a little fun.
Speaking of a movie, after we're done podcasting, I'm actually going to the movie to see the Happy Time Murder.
What's that one?
Oh, I think that's going to be
the
terrible.
one where Disney sued them because it's Muppets in a murder mystery.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to see. That's going to be fun.
So, and I want to see it in a theater because I think it's going to be, the laughter will be more infectious because there'll be people laughing at things maybe I might not laugh at, and then it makes you laugh. Sometimes I enjoy a comedy more. Like we saw Jumanji in the theater, and then I've seen it now at home. And we laughed more in the theater because there were things that people laughed at that it kind of made you chuckle.
I get what you're saying.
It's infectious. You know what I'm saying?
Are you laughing at that, or are you laughing at the people because they're so dumb they laugh at stupid jokes from The Rock?
Well, yeah. Old Man Ribs isn't going to get some millennial jokes. You know, Old Man Ribs is he's still trying to plug in a headset to the iPhone jack. He's not figuring shit out yet.
Can you hear the silent bird right now?
Well, you couldn't hear silence then, Ribs.
Yeah. That's like Blind Fury saying he sees us very well.
Speaking of which, man, I'm making a documentary on that guy. Documentary?
He'll probably do it too.
What?
He'll do it too.
I know he would. I just want to go there and just fucking set up a couple cameras, set up a GoPro, bring an ounce of weed, and fucking 330 packs, and just spend 3 days and just live the Blind Fury life. That would be sick.
And he can tell you stories about taking a shotgun to the face.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get the gritty details. Oh, fuck! I was going to ask you about. You brought something up, Ribs, and it sparked something, but then I forgot it. I lost it.
Welcome to your 30s.
Yeah, Alzheimer's. It just continuously dwindling. Just compiling. What else? Oh,
brought it up.
I got a question for you, Jarek. Since you're not growing it like you once were, are you partaking as much as you once did?
Such a funny thing, because I set out on this trip and I have just pounds sitting in a fucking storage unit, and I brought a little jar of weed, and I'm already out. So you ask yourself that question, because it was a stupid decision. Like, so
what's the shelf life on it if it's sitting in storage?
I'm just going to turn it to wax anyways. Like, I'm turning it to wax and Rick Simpson Oil. That was the goal. Like, it's just everything's so much more expensive out here for not CO2, but for butane and for all that other shit. So I got to go back, make Rick Simpson Oil, because I was supposed to just be doing oil the whole time out here. just be going through that whole 60-gram regiment.
You were talking about cleansing everything out and then stopping, I thought.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, it's when you're not growing weed, there's no way you smoke it like you're growing weed. There's no fucking way you burn bowls 24/7. And I don't really like paying for weed. I'd rather pay for beers. Like I'm averse to it. And now you got to pay taxes on it. I just did it up here in Zach, and it was a totally different experience. But they put it's 24% tax already.
Well, of course it's going to be.
24%?
24%. And then what do you think is going to happen when they put the fucking feds in? Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's, I mean, what's booze? I would have to imagine booze couldn't be more than 15%.
I don't think it's more than 10%.
And that's including, that's not including state, though. Actually, it's not including state. So just federal alone is probably 15%. And then you add in the 9% of Cali, it's 24% too. I'm sure, because I remember going to the Nex and I'd get booze, tax-free and then duty-free. And yeah, probably about 20%. I think that makes a good one.
Yeah. So what else is bugging us?
Shit, man. I mean, I have Yahoo, right? So every single time I've been going on the Yahoo email, it's been filling my feed with the Molly Tibbetts stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
The second it comes out that she was killed by an illegal immigrant, the second it does.
It died.
Now Yahoo is writing defamatory articles about Molly Tibbetts and these things. It's like, how have you been throwing this down people's throat? And now that it's against your narrative of illegal immigrants, now we're using it to hype up an immigration issue. I didn't even know about Molly Tibbetts. You've been shoving it in my face in the media-wise, and now that it comes out that he's an illegal alien, you're like, oh, well, these Republicans are just trying to make it an immigration issue. No, an illegal
He wasn't
alien
illegal.
and murdered her.
Illegal.
Huh?
He wasn't illegal. She was killed by an illegal.
He is illegal, yeah.
Yeah, but you said she's illegal.
I said he. It probably just sounded that way. How the hell is a blonde white girl from Iowa illegal?
Well, I just want to make sure that...
No, he's illegal, and he has a wife and a daughter, and he chased her down, and he raped her, and he killed her.
Well, the thing that I'm seeing now on my feeds is that it's not that he's illegal. We need to deal with men's feeling of entitlement.
Toxic masculinity. Exactly. They try to say because she told him no when she was jogging, because that's what he said. Now it's about toxic masculinity.
Yeah, and let's shine the light that there are far worse cultures out there with toxic masculinity.
Well, that's what I'm saying. These cultures they're coming from are the ones that are go walk through a street in Mexico and see if you get catcalled. Not in Cancun where you're living on a nice. Go to Tijuana, go to Nogales. And
didn't they just find like 8 bags of bodies in Cancun?
Yeah, the U.S. just issued an advisory too. Say anyway, because plus you throw in those jet ski dudes that just rolled up on the beach with jet skis, blasted that top stand, dude, and then took back off. It's like there's better all-inclusives I'd like to go to, which makes me wonder: is the United States not allowed to do all-inclusives, or why the fuck do we not have any?
They have them.
They do, because I mean we have some of the just as many nice beaches as Mexico. It's
the Virgin Islands. We have inclusives on the Virgin Islands.
Oh, so those are just colonies, though.
I mean, it's under U.S. law. You don't need a passport.
Of course, that's what I'm needed for Puerto Rico, right? But we're letting those people die. Like, just because they don't need a passport to visit these places doesn't mean they're
They've had plenty of options to join the union, and they refused.
Of course they did. I'm not pretending like they're not complicit in it. I'm just saying that now they're asking for citizenship, and I would say no, too, because now you just want the aid. But it's like,
what's going to be interesting is once Hurricane Lane is done with Hawaii, it'll be interesting to see what level of damage is in Hawaii and how long does Hawaii take to get back to what it was, because they're getting hammered right now.
Less than 6 months.
That hurricane is doing some serious damage across the islands.
Isn't it just the big islands?
No, it's hit them all.
God dang.
They're going to open all those the Marine Corps base, the Army base, the Naval base, and they're all going to give aid. I say less than 6 months. Everything's good, 100%.
The naval base right there. I mean, there's
each island has a base, doesn't it? There's a Maui where
it
the
might
Marine.
It has an ancillary base for sure, but like the massive base is Oahu.
But they train all over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have ancillary bases all over, but like our massive base is Oahu.
Plus, the volcano island's still erupting, so that's pretty much just you're a goner.
Oh yeah, the Big Island has got the huge volcano, and
yes, I'm saying it's so sweet because now you can go to the Big Island and pick up fucking land up in mountain. For you think anyone's gonna be buying in the Big Island for a while? Now they're like, there's a volcano.
You want to go buy? This is the time.
You buy on mountain where there's no fucking the volcano flows downward. If you're thousands of feet above the volcano, unless it's just erupting hot ash, then you're fucked. But I mean, like if it's just doing what it's doing right now, where it's just destroying Pahoa and destroying those areas, like that's where I was looking. That's where when it was Corinne just bought her land and just destroyed their house. The volcano just destroyed their house. One of them. If it's Corinne or whoever's got, one of the girls is over in Hawaii.
Laura's friend Kay.
Kay, just fucked her house up. It's like, that's where I was.
All our friend, but Kay, yeah.
But do you think these people are going to go back to Hawaii after their house got blown away?
That's what I'm getting. I'll buy their land.
Exactly.
Yeah. If they volcanoes are part of Hawaii, it's a constantly growing island. You know, so you just buy where outside the volcano paths. You buy Big Island's a fucking huge island. Buy on the other side of the island, the active volcano is not even anywhere near. Now, if it's a full-on eruption, yeah, I'm dead. Okay, but you got to risk it for the biscuit to live on an island.
Or you're paying $8 for a gallon of milk and $42 for a loaf of bread.
Yeah, and you pay $10,000 for 3 square acres. So
yeah,
I'll take more expensive eggs, and I guarantee there's probably a small farm I could just go milk. I don't even like milk, so problem solved.
And didn't they just get shut down for trying to ban guns too?
Yeah, and actually the Ninth Circuit Court, which is in San Francisco, which is funny.
Yeah,
it actually just said that open carry, they shot down, California tried to say that somebody couldn't open carry, and the Ninth Circuit said he could. And then the Ninth Circuit said they could in Hawaii. And that means that the Ninth Circuit said they could, and Hawaii and California, you bet your dick, are going to sue, which means that's going to go to Supreme Court. So now we have a stacked Supreme Court going to say, yeah, you have the right to open carry. So California and Hawaii and every other state that says you don't have a right to open carry, and they're probably going to have reciprocatory CCW stuff here coming up too. But open carry is a right, and so California had just got screwed by their own Ninth Circuit Court. You think that a liberal justice court would not vote 2-1 in favor that open carry is allowed, but maybe they saw the writing on the wall, and that if they shot it down, it's just going to go to the Supreme Court, and they're going to be overturned anyways. So it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and they're definitely going to rule in favor of. You
got to look at all the companies that left. All those companies that left to go to Texas or to Utah, Nevada.
Huh? And you put why would you stay? Like when Seattle put those $200 employee shit on it per employee over 100. Why would you stay? That's a $21 million extra tax just for opening a business. Yeah. Nobody would stay here. It's like what's happening in New Jersey. They're having record numbers of it. It's like what happened in Chicago already. You had a flight of 75,000 and above jobs, and you only have an influx of jobs of 50,000 and below. And then those 75,000 are leaving Illinois. They're going to places right on the outskirts, and New Jersey's going to Florida. People are going into fucking tax-free zones. They're taking their money, and these states are like, well, it's not going to take everybody. No, but it's going to take your most affluent. And if you have one guy paying fucking almost $50 million in taxes, that makes up a shit ton of people paying $2,400. So it's a shot in the foot, and all these liberal paradises are going to be what crumbles first in the United States. And the only thing that's going to actually have strong economies is these Midwest areas, these South, like Georgia, where you actually have or New Detroit. You know, when Detroit actually gets its infrastructure going back there, you get things like that. Those will survive. But these big ass places with their shitty policies and taxes, everyone's fleeing in record numbers, and you're overtaxing in property taxes, overtaxing in fucking any kind of tax, state tax. Well, now you can't write off your state tax for Fed tax. So now you're going to be paying almost 50% for Cali for decrepit roads and no health care. Yeah.
But then they all flee. They flee to Utah, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado.
And they're raising your guys' they're raising all your property values.
Destination right now.
Huh?
Texas is the #1 destination.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the lowest cost of living and the most space.
Yeah, but the thing is now they're going to turn all these red areas fucking blue with their shitty they don't realize they left shitty policies to go to a place that have better policies. But they bring their shitty policy mindsets with them. And then they're like, we need more liberal policies here in Texas. It's like, you fucking left them. You realize what they do. They pilfer all your wealth and they offer nothing in return, and yet you want to bring that same shit to the place you just fled to? If I were Texas, I'd be booting anybody that had a California ID. Hey, get back over there, you fruit. Go back to Hollywood.
They want the money.
Yeah, they do. Well, Texas is going to Colorado. That's what my mom always bitches about. She's like, because Texas has all their money, and they just flee over to Colorado and buy a secondary home. Huge ass something. Just cash. Mom has Texans coming up there all the time just offering for her house. Look, I can buy your house. I bet you would there, Red. There you go.
I'm surprised your mom doesn't go back to Alaska.
She bought that cabin area
up in Walden.
And yeah,
it's not going to survive the winter. Zach told me it's already starting to snow.
It's already snowing. I know she's not going to survive the winters. Like I said, I think Mom just wants a home base. I think she's going to, because honestly, you add in all the money she's going to make from her house before the market crashes. You know, she's in the mountains. So when Denver crashes, it's going to be a ripple effect up to the mountains. So she's able to get out before the crash. She'll have a shit ton of cash. She's got a fucking property she owns fucking pretty much free, like free and clear, because they got it for fucking cheap. And then they're building their shit on it. So I just think it's like I think it's a place where Mom could have a home base, and then she could travel and do her own shit. Because there's no way she's surviving winters there. They have to have their own plow. They do, but like they only plow the dirt road. You have to plow your entire own road.
Yeah, Zach was telling me that the side house is going to run completely off a stove, one stove.
It kind of works, shockingly. Like
how?
Because it's those big wood stoves, and the pipe goes through, and instead of it just exhausting right through the top, the pipe goes through the entire house and then exhausts out. Shockingly worked. I mean, we just throwing logs in there. I was warm the whole fucking time. It was very odd, and it's cold as shit. But it's Colorado. It's northern cold, so it's like bitter and dry. So as long as if the sun's exactly. But if the sun, you're all chapped and shit. But if the sun's out, it's decent. So you get good days. And then Mom's smart. She always gets south facing shit. So the sun's always the first one to burn off.
Yeah, I was talking to Zach about that for a long time. And he's like, yeah, it's already snowing. I'm like, in August. He's like, yeah, I'm coming back before October. I'm like, if you can make it back.
Well, that's when I was there was October. And I made it out right before their fucking Mom and I were chilling at the cabin. And she's like, Jarek, we could stay an extra day, but the wind says we're about to get a 7-day storm and we might be trapped. I was like, and the pass is going to close down. I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. I was like, let's go back to the fucking place where there's a bar. She loves Alaska, so she might like it. She might like that shit. I mean, she's got a stream right in the backyard. She can go hiking whenever the fuck she wants. There's bear and moose and everything right around there. So it's as close to Alaska as Colorado is.
But if you believe as much as Mike talked about Alaska and how shitty it really was.
But that's Fairbanks.
That's fucking Fairbanks, Alaska. That is literally hell for the Army, and that's where they send people to try to get you out of the military.
But that was Dugway.
Huh?
That was Dugway.
Oh, they've been trying. Then they had to compound. Like, he likes the desert. Got to fucking send him to the snow. And then he fucking liked it there. They're like, Jesus, we just got to get rid of this kid.
Just give him his 100%.
Give him his 100%. Give him his 100% VA and his 100% disability. Just let him the fuck out. Just working in some hospital with a bunch of girls. You wouldn't survive combat. You wouldn't survive. Yeah, I know. This is Fairbanks, Alaska.
Oh, man.
Oh, I love that kid, though.
We did have an interesting conversation. I should bring it up. We talked to Stephanie's friend and Emma's godmother about the tranny situation.
And did they agree that one of them's gay?
Yes, one of them is gay.
One of them's gay. I don't know which one's gay, but one of them is gay.
No, we found out which one was gay. So the bearded lady is not gay because she's still a lady.
Right.
Her and her gay friend, because she's a lesbian, so they were trying to figure this out. The handy from the dude that was turning into a girl was not gay.
So they're both not gay?
That one's not gay, but the one that he drove to...
No, the one that has a penis is gay.
Oh, they were both gay? I thought it was just the one is gay.
I think they're both gay. I think when it comes to trannies, they're both gay.
Well, apparently I misunderstood.
If they have a penis, then it's gay.
If there's a penis, it's gay. There you go.
The girl with the beard didn't have a penis yet. She just had a beard.
Well, the tranny had a beard because she was taking testosterone.
She's taking testosterone, but she didn't transfer to a penis yet. So
No.
that's the only one that's bi, in my opinion. The rest of them are gay.
Bearded lady.
Bearded ladies definitely bi. The dudes with dicks, even a handy, gay. Gay.
And that is from the gay community.
Oh, I think we should have a fucking consensus on this one. You know, if you go to a glory hole, odds are you're bi. So if you get jerked off with a girl with a beard, you're a little gay. Oh, America's finest. Proud to be.
What about Washington, Jarek?
What about
the petitions that they shot down to take the gun initiatives off the ballot, and then their Supreme Court put it back on the ballot?
What gun initiatives?
They were trying to do the gun control through their state, rose up. They signed petitions to get it off the ballot, got it off the ballot, but then they fought it, and their Supreme Court from the benches decided it needed to go back onto the ballot, even though it was
the Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people think that just because there's a court, if they're doing things that are fucking adverse to humanity and rights, they're not a fucking court. It's it's shocking, man. Shocking. Like,
that happened yesterday.
Because that's what Colorado, they tried to do that, and Colorado went and said, no, we're not going to allow that. Every county has to fucking ratify it. That's the only way you can amend a constitution. The fact that some Supreme Court could come in and say, nah, your public measures mean nothing to us. You don't want it on the ballot, but we think you're too stupid to make that decision. So we're going to put it on the ballot.
Here in Utah, we've got a new one going on because, you know, the marijuana initiative is on the ballot for November. And the Mormon Church just got caught sending emails to their members saying that if you're a good Mormon, you will vote against it because it's against your.
But is that wrong?
No.
Well, they're not. As a church, they're not supposed to tell people how to vote.
It doesn't matter. As a church, that's not true because you do have an ideology and you do have ethics, and so I'm sure they.
Okay, let me tell you, the Book of Mormon says everything that God put on the earth is for humans, and that means pot because marijuana is.
So it's cocaine
put on the earth by God.
So it's cocaine and heroin, opium.
Yeah,
but then you're going to go back to the church, and the church is going to do what they want to do no matter what, since forever.
I think they have that right. I mean, we've given them that right. We basically said separation of church and state. They're their own entity. I mean, it's come out that Scientology's infiltrated our government, and nobody did anything about it because then it would come out that every other church has infiltrated our government. And there's a bunch of members from a bunch of different factions that actually have ulterior motives. But we have
it's creating a mini civil war here. You've got very active good Mormons, technically, who are very much pro-marijuana because they have children who are epileptic. They have children who are, and they've been going to Colorado and bringing it back illegally, and they've seen when it's done for their kids, and they are very, very against what the church just did because they're like, I'm a good Mormon. I pay my tithing. I do these things. I do my service, and I don't want to see my child suffer.
So that we'll see that change from the inside of a church organization. Same way that we've seen, so many other aspects of religion change. Now drinking semi-acceptable. Now, sexual prowess is almost acceptable. Divorce is acceptable in the Mormon church now, as long as you do a church divorce, so you're not married to them in the afterlife. Like it's stranger in a strange land. Eventually, we're going to be going to church.
Rules.
Huh?
You can't change 1,000-year-old rules.
That's what they do, though. That's exactly. If we want to sit here and pretend that religion is not a constantly evolving thing, it would be to say that Christianity is the same as it was in the medieval Dark Ages.
Yeah,
sure, shit is.
And Martin Luther changed.
Right, there is reformers. There's reformers within countries and reformers within religion.
That was the point. Was it Henry VIII made his own religion because he wanted to evolve?
He wanted to be able to divorce. It's funny you brought that up. We just talked about that this morning at breakfast, that Henry VIII cut his wife's head off because he couldn't divorce her. So it was okay to murder her, create trumped up charges and murder her, but he couldn't divorce her.
Right. It's funny.
Then he created his own religion because he didn't want to keep killing his own wives.
But didn't Jefferson came up with his own Bible and just took out all the words of God and Jesus and just made it a story about the teachings of Jesus, and it was actually a good Bible. So I mean, if he just took out all the what you would call filler of the Bible, the Jefferson Bible is a good Bible.
Yeah, he took out all the stuff Paul did. Paul is the worst thing that ever happened to Christianity.
It was more of like an Aesop's Fables.
Paul was a self-hating gay, because he's the one that put all that other mindset into it. That you have to be celibate, you have to be this. I truly believe that he was a self-hating gay man.
Or masochist, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he wasn't even a follower. He converted after he died. So Paul was Saul, and he was the first persecutor of Christians. He used to kill them and execute them. And he had a conversion on the road to Damascus.
Hey, I'm a fan of the pike. I'm a fan that if your religion gets in the way of other people's rights to humanity, you deserve a fucking pike. And so Islam's going through their own. You know, like every religion goes through it. Like I've been to Bahrain, I've been to those places. You can see there's a huge cultural shift. People do not want to be. They don't want to live oppressed. It is averse to.
It's against humanity. Huh? It's against our inner nature to be oppressed.
Exactly. And
that's why children rebel against their parents, because
this is why Western culture is taking over the globe. Is, you know, what some people are calling it debauchery, which it does delve into in some aspects, but it is about individual freedom and individual liberty, and it's about it's secularism, and it's not compatible with pretty much 2 billion people on this planet. They're not secular. You know.
It's funny you bring this up because Holly and I have been watching that series, The Vikings, right?
Right.
And at one point. In this season, what they did is they actually went off to Iceland, a group of them, because they were tired of killing. So they just wanted to get back to their farming roots. So they went to Iceland because they're like, we need to be better people. We need to get away from revenge killing, all the stuff that had been going on. And if you look at the northern part of Europe where the Vikings were, they're the most social democrat there is. They truly try to be better humans. And I think that was the debauchery. They lived through killing and killing and killing.
What's it leading to? It's literally their open border policies is leading to such
because people who didn't go through that are coming in and trying to take advantage to further their own agenda. Correct. And my argument is the last people you really want to piss off are the whites, because I think we're the most barbaric at our core, but we also try to be the most humane. And once we push to a point, I think whites become the worst of the killers. We are
mass murderers. Let's just be completely. Who inflicts the most massive rage? It's whites.
Oh yeah, I mean, who cuts out their opponent's body parts and eat them? I mean, or do the blood weed. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You don't. I think a large group of people have forgotten. You don't want to get the whites totally enraged, because look what we did in World War II. Some of the worst
kill each other
in history were white on white, German and English and American.
Exactly. We killed each other for some small hats. That's what we did.
Yeah.
We killed our entire generation's growth. It was a white genocide. That's how I view World War II. Fucking 155 million whites face of the earth. If you count fucking communism and you count fucking World War II, all what Stalin was doing, the murder of their own people.
Yeah, we would have over 1 billion additional people now.
There'd be 1 billion additional people. That's what I'm getting at. It's an extermination by a group of people that do not want us around.
Yeah. So
we fight their wars constantly.
Well, because we like war. We have to break that.
War. Nobody likes war. You can ask any soldier out there. They're doing it for defense.
No, but what I'm saying, Jarek, is that the white male is, because he's swallowed down his emotion, tends to be the quickest to violence.
I can see that. Well, I would say males in general. This is if you look at who's the most violent in our country, it's not white males.
Well, we once were.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were the only people living in a cold climate.
That's all I'm getting at.
You could see it in evolution. I mean, the reason Africa and Native American had they lived off the land is because they had so much abundance. It was about living off the land. You know,
where did the whites live? They lived where the glaciers were, and
exactly.
there was
so you had to fucking, if you didn't have food,
stuff.
Yeah, you're fighting for stuff. And so it's a different form of evolution that happened for 70,000 years. You know, we got 70,000 years of violent warring factions. Most Native American tribes weren't warring. You know, there was only the Navajo, the Apache, those ones, but a lot of Native American tribes weren't. It was not like we make them seem like they're just constantly shooting arrows at each other and bucking them up. Most of them were just peaceful nations.
Yeah. No, so that's a good look there, Andy. The light from the window behind you is shining off your bald head.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible.
It's kind of blaring, like woo.
I'm trying to fix my antivirus because it keeps popping up telling me that Jarek is a pedophile.
Ooh, let me see that dingus. No, but seriously, guys, before we log off, let me see the dicks.
Yeah, here we go again.
Dangle them.
What? Because then it hits that. That's why I angled it back. So what about Ireland? Go to Ireland.
What's going on in Ireland?
The Pope
They're all drunk.
confronts the nation because of the abuse, finally.
Oh, when he finally came out and said, we're going to have a vigil for look, when you paid out $5 billion in child rape cases just to settle them out of court, and now you want to issue apology fucking 20 years later. It's sad. Like Catholicism, the fact that anybody is practicing, knowing that their Pope was fucking not even coming out and saying anything about any of these predatory priests and just shuffling them around. It's fucking disgusting.
Well, they need to go back and let them be married. They shouldn't be celibate.
I thought they just said that.
It's not natural to be celibate.
I thought they just changed it. I thought they just said nunnery doesn't have to be celibate anymore. I thought they're going to change.
Well, that's a nunnery. That's not a priest.
But the priest will be next. They're changing nuns. If the nuns don't have to be chaste anymore, I could see it's not much longer until the priest. I totally agree. Now, one Rivs. If I've been on a ship celibate for 8 months, I didn't have thoughts of fucking a young boy. So there's obvious.
You weren't really celibate. You just sat behind the wall, and then stuff happened.
Huh? I fucking hate you. But wait, so what? What were you saying, Riz?
I was just saying it's not natural to. It doesn't mean you go and do but where would, because I truly believe, and this is what's scaring me about the LGBTQ, I truly believe pedophilia is in the brain and you're born with it, just like you are born trans or you're born gay, but it doesn't mean it should be acceptable.
Well, there's some people that are, the majority of homosexual relationships where has a, oh shit, I think we lost Andy. Has an experience with an older male. You know, you had it from hockey, you had it from and like we're seeing it now. Like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she was the one that married the first prominent homosexual couple. They were just arrested the other day for drugging and anally raping one of they've been doing it to so many young boys. It's like, what about the prominent adopter? The gay couple adopted this. Thankfully they're the first gay, and a year later they've been pimping that 2-year-old child out, and there was thousands of videos of it.
Is that really? This isn't fake news.
This isn't fake news at all. No, not at all, man. Like the Ruth Gator.
How do you find this? This is not public knowledge.
Yes, it is. These are real publications. They're just buried. They're on Vox. They're on a local publication. It's like it'd be KPTV, Pennsylvania. They ran an article.
Vote? Is that what you said? Vote.
boiiii.co. Yeah.
Vote. VOC.
voat.co.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Vote.co. And that's just how I get news, because it's an international news site. Like, sure, there's a lot of people post a lot of inflammatory shit. If you go to Ask What, but I just go to the news segment. You know, there's world news, there's technology news, there's a whole bunch. So you can just go to Subverses and just read those. You know, there's it's just a way for people to share and get information. Yeah, these are not fucking fake news. These are guys that went to jail, and like these other guys are now being questioned because the guy finally came forward because of the Me Too stuff, and he didn't.
It's no different than we know psychopathy is a brain issue.
Right.
I will fight tooth and nail to ever legitimize being a psychopath. Psychopathy is not what we want to say. Well, they were born that way. We'll accept it. I feel that way about pedophilia. If they're born that way, fine, but you are going to fight that the rest of your life. You are not going to be able to legitimize it.
Do we keep them around as a society? I mean, no, I'm asking. I'm like, there's been they're trying to openly make pedophilia okay. You can see it with the they're calling it minor attracted persons. They're calling themselves MAPs, minor attracted persons. And they're trying to get included in the. It's like what we're watching the LGBT tear themselves apart. The lesbians want out of it because the trans are saying that they're not inclusive because they don't fuck guys that identify as girls. And girls say, the lesbians say, we're only interested in biological females. So they want to take their L out of the LGBTQ because trans are calling them TERFs.
Because they're saying that if you turn yourself from female to male, you can't be a lesbian anymore because your mindset is male.
Yes.
And they automatically assume that you become masculine, which they're just like, what? And they want to throw them out.
So the lesbians are like, we want to be our own. We'll just go be L. We'll just go we don't want to have sleep with a guy who identifies as a girl. They don't want penetrative sex with a male. That's their definition of lesbianism. And now you're going to sit here and tell them they're not inclusive because they don't agree with you? Get the fuck out of here. I love how the left eats themselves up. It's not going to last.
Did you guys see this week the new definition of vagina in the medical journals?
Yeah, it's called your front hole.
A front hole.
Yeah, they changed the definition of vagina to front hole because they wanted to be more inclusive to not 0.1% of our population.
Yeah.
So they tell you how to have penetrative sex in your front. I saw it. That's a top medical journal. Yeah, I saw that the other day. It's fucked up.
Hold on a second. Let me look this up before we just get deeper into this.
It's not a joke, man. Yeah, it's real. Like they changed it.
Healthline's not changing it. This is going to be a fight.
I can tell you. It's going to be a fight. No one's going to call it a front hole.
When you have the birds and bees with your daughter, are you going to tell her it's the front hole? No.
It's the front hole that gets you pregnant. The back hole is the good hole for sex. It's like, what the fuck are you trying? It's now
Healthline, a California-based online resource for all health matters, published that this for their safe sex guide.
Yep. So that you basically know how to have penetrative sex in all those holes. California's a weird one for teaching sex ed to kids pretty young. I don't think I'd have kids in these schools in Cali.
They don't want to call it, so they skipped out on birth canal or internal genitalia. Those were the front runners.
Yeah.
Settled on front hole. Who's writing these kids? Is it written in a crayon? Is that their memo? Is it crayon on a napkin? It's got to be.
And what's interesting is I had this conversation yesterday during our lunch conversation with some very progressive 30-year-old teachers, and they were all, because they have daughters, they were all like, no, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So you, just like what you said, the left is turning, they're pushing more and more people who would have at one point been on their side. They're pushing them away because they're like,
Trump 2020 is going
like, I'm not going to go along with this insaneness.
I know they're killing their own midterm elections too. I mean, you should go see. There's a bunch of banners of a whole bunch of black women holding signs that says "Our government taking illegals over us puts Black lives last." I mean, people are waking up across the fucking board, and it's like Americanism is kind of starting to ring true again, and they're shooting themselves in the foot because we only have a two-party system, which sucks. But if you only have a two-party system, you just force everybody to the other party. It's like,
well, the other problem is these Democratic sides are now pushing their Republican policies, but they're not calling themselves independent because they're afraid to change sides.
That's a smart one too. Yeah, there's a lot of demos that are actually, but there's a lot of Republicans that are rhinos, Republican in name only. There's John McCain. There's Paul Ryan. These guys are writing Democratic policies under the guise of Republican. It's funny, yeah, but they don't want to switch because they lose their ticket.
Independent thought, and they don't want to change their side because they're afraid of it.
That's
Green Party aspect.
Well, absolutely. It's because if you change to the Green Party, you're just taken from one side. That's all they bitch about. I mean, remember Chance destroying you when you voted for Nader, Rivs? And then now he just voted for Bernie, and like everybody hates him. It's like you can't sit here and tell somebody because they voted for somebody not. You're taking a vote from us. Who the fuck do you think? Like, we shouldn't even be able to have parties. Like, been reading a lot of John Stuart Mill and about representative government and stuff like that, and why them just putting candidates in front of us is an affront to what democracy really is. We shouldn't have candidates. Every single person should go in and just write the top 10 most prominent names and rank from first, second. So kind of like we do for our Heisman trophies, you know,
right.
First through 10. And if your first votes are counted, you know, exponentially, your second vote. So second vote would be, so if he's first, but he's third on somebody else's, you know, they're scalable. Like it would just be,
well, that's how
you'd be pulling community members out. The best person for public service is the person that doesn't want it. It's not the
that's
people
how it used to be in America. You didn't vote for president and vice president. The number one got president, the number two got vice president. And that's why you often ended up with people from competing parties being the number one and the number two position.
We just it's become a dog and pony show. And it's become a one federal government under the guise of two parties. It's a one party system. You know,
but that mindset. So could you imagine Donald Trump with the vice president of Hillary Clinton at this time?
That would make it, no, but of course, because it's become so polarized. And absolutely I could, because what does the vice president really do? She'd be in charge of the House.
Yeah.
Which would be overseeing a Republican House, which I would have no problem with. I mean, in reality, it would have been better for a Bernie vice presidency, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd rather see a Bernie vice presidency than
which he should have been. If the DNC wouldn't have jacked it from him, we'd have a Bernie Sanders presidency right the fuck now. Let's not pretend like every poll.
Yeah, everybody's sitting here talking so much about the Russian involvement.
No,
what about
Bernie Sanders right now?
Bernie during the primary.
Yeah, because everybody that was blue would have been anti-Trump, would have been straight to Bernie. He already had all the independent vote. Fuck, he had my vote. Like, I probably would have went out and voted for the motherfucker just to go watch socialism do what socialism does, destroy a country.
Right?
Oh, man. But I did have a wonderful conversation at work with this old gentleman from Texas on how they got down to they're trying to dig up campaign fund fraud on people, on Trump, and they're starting to arrest his lawyer for giving the money to Stormy Daniels, and now they're starting to indict for these little things, but got nothing on collusion.
They got nothing. That's why he doesn't ever come out and ever make it seem like it's even a thing. Like where you'd have Clinton stuff defending himself, doing press conferences, doing shit like that. Trump doesn't even acknowledge it because he knows it's a farce and his base knows it's a farce. So to acknowledge a farce is just to play into their game.
Yeah.
Because if you even defend yourself in an illegitimate argument, now you make it seem like you have to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Argument,
you already put yourself on the defensive.
Yeah. You just got to step the fuck out.
Well, I think we're all in agreement, though, that somebody needs to take Donald's account, his phone out of his hand, because a president shouldn't be twittering every little thing.
Got him.
I don't think he's doing it. I don't think he's the one doing it.
It's not Donald Trump. It's not Donald Trump's personal account. He has a team do it. Like, what do you think got him the presidency? His interactions with social media. Like, that's what his base wants. His base likes those, because you realize he tweeted about South Africa when none of our publications. See, here's what I'm saying, because I agree with you, Rich. He shouldn't be saying these things because he's the president of the United States. But when our own government is not even acknowledging South African land farm seizures and fucking execution of whites, and they don't even acknowledge it, they say it's okay that apartheid was wrong. So now that the whites are being genocided and they're having their land taken away with no compensation and the Constitution's being changed, that's fine. So if we didn't have a president saying, "Hey, I'm having the Secretary General look into this. It's not cool. We've been talking about it for a while. We give them $50 billion in aid. Why are we going to give a country $50 billion in aid committing genocide and taking land without fighting? We're not going to give it to a corrupt government." And so, to me, that's basically him doing what the news is supposed to be doing.
Well, didn't the leader of the riots come out and say that Donald Trump was right? We are killing white farmers the whole time?
Correct. There's two different ones. There's the EFF leader, and then there's the actual ANC leader. Cyril Ramaphosa's he doesn't, like, they're just trying to appease the EFF. Joseph Malma, I believe it's Malma, because they're pushing for straight genocide, and the ANC is trying to keep its power. Because if the ANC loses to the EFF, you go listen to that motherfucker's speeches. He's like, "We're not calling for the genocide of whites, at least for now." but they are fucking very guaranteed on taking land without. So yeah, ANC's Cyril Ramaphosa is trying to be like, yes, Donald Trump is right, because they know that if they amend their constitution, that no one's going to invest in South Africa ever again. They're already got put down to junk bond status. So they're already lower than Chicago when it comes to goddamn countries, even though they have one of the best infrastructures in South Africa. And so you already got put down to junk bond status. And now you're going to take away property rights. You tell me one company or one person that's going to invest in anywhere in Africa. It already happened to Zimbabwe now, or what we would call Rhodesia. And it's happening in South Africa, and they're going to call it some other fake name. It's not the Khoisan's taking it back. The Khoisan's genocide. So the Bantus came in and killed the real blacks that were there and are now claiming that they have rights to that blacks that they exterminated land. It's a fucking shock to me. And everyone's just like, yeah, whites have no right to be there. Well, where do we have a right to be? We don't have a right to be in Europe. We don't have a right to be in America. Like, we're just colonizers everywhere we go. We don't have a right to just fucking exist.
No, I wanted to get an apple. So
Oh, there's little Emma.
Little Emma.
Little Jarek.
Yeah.
So big.
you wanted her name to be Jerica.
Just to have a positive note.
Yeah, the only one of our friends that actually's got a positive note. Me and Dooz are the last hangouts without kids.
Oh, wake up. We'll see. We'll see how this one fights through it.
When are you guys having your second one? You guys,
speaking of that, Jarek, how was you and Scott when you saw each other at the shower? Was everything cool?
just exactly like I said it would be. All it takes is two dudes hanging out again and realize that we were just kids, and it's not a big deal. And it really wasn't a big deal. And it just ended just like that.
And it was done, right?
The thing that had to happen was they both needed to sit down and talk to each other like civilized human beings.
Yeah.
And they're both too hard-headed to do anything.
Well, and then Scott and I knew Scott. I knew it. It was just very simple. And then that's when he came out for Comic-Con, and Andy had to head back because she went into emergency labor. Doozle and I just kicked it all day, walked around, fucking checked out stuff. It was just normal Scott and Jarek. It was like the typical dude stuff. You could get in a fight. It's like girls always say they can never understand how two guys can fight and still be friends afterwards. Because every single time they have a fight, it's like, well, now you're my enemy.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's what needed to happen. You just needed to sit down and talk, and then everything would be fine.
Oh, I annoyed this. So the other day, Andy, I did what you hate. So they didn't want me to drive because I was just wrecking everything, right? So I got the muscle car in the desert, and I just blasted back in the saddle again and put my microphone right next to it and just did donuts for the entire length of the song. And as soon as I got out of the car, Jeremy got out and shot my gear, and I was like, all right, I'll see you guys later. Like, you're not allowed to fucking drive anymore.
Oh, man.
Oh, fucking fun, man. Oh, you getting Red Dead Redemption, Andy?
Yeah.
That's what it was you brought up. And then you kind of retouched on it because you said Disney was just going after somebody, but it reminded me of the copyright shit. Yeah, we're allowing Disney. Oh, yeah, the Muppet movie you said. So Disney's trying to say that now they claim all puppet characters?
No,
yeah, that was and they lost. They lost that lawsuit.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, though. But it's like they're doing with the copyright issues. They're pretending just because they're still an existing company, they can keep pushing. No, the copyright should die when Walt Disney. It should expire 50 years after Walt Disney died. It should be at the end of Walt Disney's death, not the edge of the company. Public domain does not work because a corporation can sit here and exist perpetually as a human being. That's what they did when they changed corporations to a person. So now their entities can maintain patents, can perpetually own these things, can sue others, and DMCA take down them. It's like, you're not a fucking person. You're public domain. It only takes 20 years, and you're going to sit here and tell me that my entire childhood and growth and incepting in my mind, and now all those ideas you put in there are yours? Oh, fuck out of here.
Right. And I'm glad you brought Disney up because I meant to talk about this earlier. I think that Netflix is going to be a great short candidate because now that Disney has bought Fox and Disney won't do business, they're going to do their own online service.
They already said they would.
They did already. They said the last Marvel and Disney movie going on to Netflix is going to be Infinity or Ant-Man and Wasp. They said that's the last one.
Ant-Man and Wasp. Yep.
Wow.
And they said that Netflix will lose all Disney.
And that's Marvel. That's
and they're gonna lose all Fox too, because Disney owns Fox.
That's Fox, but they said they weren't going to pull that yet.
Well, no,
the only thing Disney won't pull from Marvel is Netflix TV.
Netflix lost Fox already. Hulu absorbed Fox. So Hulu was the one that pretty much jumped in and took all those. Netflix doesn't have any Fox shows.
They don't have Star Wars? That's Fox.
No, it's not Disney.
No, Star Wars is Disney.
Well,
it was done originally by Fox. If you watch the beginning of Star Wars, it was a 20th Century Fox.
Right. But it got Lucasfilm sold that shit for fucking.
Once Lucas bought that back, Disney bought Lucas out for $4.1 billion.
$4.1 billion. You got $4 billion.
And then like a $6 million contract to be a consultant.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, of course he did. And then he was so pissed that he sold it to Disney because he felt they ruined it.
Oh, what do you mean felt they ruined it? What did you think Disney was going to do? They were turning it into a theme park, right? I mean, they just demolished fucking the Tower of Terror and put their Marvel shit there.
The Guardians of the Galaxy escape from prison.
Is it fun?
The whole reason that the Han Solo movie was a disappointment is it was so politically correct. It didn't have any of the fun of who Han Solo was.
It failed because Last Jedi failed. It failed because everybody's been getting it's a culmination of crappier and crappier and crappier movies. And then eventually Solo comes out and then you find out what they're going to just butcher that. You're like, yeah, fuck it, I can just pass.
And then they canceled the Boba Fett movie. They canceled the Obi-Wan movie.
The Obi-Wan movie is the only one that's going to get greenlit, though, because it's got Ewan McGregor attached to it. So
I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to cancel it too.
I don't. I was already reading because I mean it's Ewan McGregor and he can pull in people and that's the one everybody wants because you're going to bring back fucking Samuel L. Jackson. You're going to bring back whatever the fuck that is the best chance that Disney has of doing a standalone film is running with people that are recognizable, and the only one
have to do it in a completely CG environment because all those guys have aged dramatically.
Oh, absolutely true that. So,
they're not going to be able at all use real face. Oh, bye, Andy.
Well, no, because
Obi-Wan,
right?
Cameras.
Obi-Wan, right before he met Luke Skywalker, was an old man. So this could be the filler between.
But Samuel L. Jackson died when they were young. Remember that?
I mean, he died in the Clone Wars.
Right. Yeah. That's true. So you just got an Ewan McGregor attached. What I'm basically saying is the only way Disney, because they're not going to pull a Boba Fett with some no name. They're not able to the fact that they would try that though. The fact, even though with Marvel they have a face attached to every single one, and then you're going to try. I guess they started with no names though. It wasn't no names. Chris Evans had a name. Thor had a name. These guys were just no names. But they were.
Chris Hemsworth was a no name. Chris Hemsworth was a no name.
They had been seen in movies.
They took a big gamble with the Robert Downey Jr. because of his prior addiction.
He was drunk.
That was the best they did. Without Robert Downey Jr.,
that was when he was really down and determined to be a great actor, and so he lifed that movie out. I mean, it was.
Without him, we wouldn't have. Clearly, wouldn't
have any of it.
No, he's the reason he was getting paid $73 million to be in those because Iron Man was fucking a staple, and Robert Downey Jr. himself was a staple of those films. Like Chris Hemsworth's a great looking dude, but he's not carrying Thor Ragnarok, fantastic, right? Like the Thors are just great, but he's not somebody you're looking at and he's just carrying the whole film.
But you got to remember they did Thor Ragnarok to counter the Ant-Man comedy because they said that the new Ant-Man wasn't going to be about comedy.
Really? Oh, yeah. So this new Ant-Man or the past.
But I thought this new Ant-Man was still pretty humorous.
But they didn't make it like they did the first one. The first one was all comedy with Paul Rudd.
Yeah, it was all comedy with Paul Rudd, and now it was like they had a.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I saw it twice.
Well, that kid's a funny comic relief. I don't know that dude's name. He was
Robert Pena.
Yeah, Robert Pena. Kid's funny as shit. So his comic relief.
The Latino guy. Yeah. I'm married to the female version of him. That whole scene where they said, "Hey, when you pay the dime, when you put the dime in, you get the whole story."
Right.
That's my wife. She can't tell a story without going through the entire backstory out. And being together as long as we've had, I've heard the backstory many times, and you're just like, I can tell this for you quicker than you're telling it.
Bad storytellers.
But we were just talking. Holy crap! I had a thought. Where'd it go?
Right out the window. That's where it went.
I'm staring at the window as you said that. To be honest, it's like, I'm like, damn it.
What's the weather like there in Utah, Rips? Is it still nice?
Oh, it was. Yeah, we had some serious rain on Thursday. I mean, it was flash flood warnings because it was that rain where it's like the water spigot turned on, and all of a sudden our entire yard was underwater within 5 minutes. It was that.
So Arizona.
So there were areas by the canyons that got flooded, and some of my coworkers, their basements, we have raised basement wells, so it has to really pour for the water to come into our basement. They don't have those raised basement wells, and so their basement's flooded, came right through the windows. So there was a lot of my coworkers who had flooded basements on Friday.
Yours don't work like
me.
Yeah.
It's been gorgeous up here. It's been nice. A lot of fire. It's a little smoky as shit.
You want to know who has cool basement is your grandpa John and Sandy. That place up in Laramie, their basements are almost 12 feet high ceilings. When you look out, they actually have a ladder up their window well to be able to get out of the basement.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Chance pimped the whole place out, man, for him for really good.
Oh, yeah. Chance did a hell of a job.
Yeah, he built that bathroom so John could have an assisted bathtub. He built all that shit that would have cost him tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah. No, the place it's top notch. The only thing is it's Laramie. There's no trees.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, their trees are saplings. And this winter, I mean, it's not unusual for it to be 22 below zero there.
Oh, just because the wind's just ripping across it?
The winds just rip across the prairie.
Well, I asked the Thai guy, like, he says he likes it more than Trinidad, but I don't think he's going to like the winters.
Well, the school is going to be amazing for Ikaika. That's why they went. It's going to, because down there in Trinidad, Colorado, it's just shit schools.
Of course, it's cool. There's only 4 marijuana stores.
Ikaika's got a brain.
Dead town. Yeah,
Ikaika's got a brain, so he's in a place, and if he graduates high school with a 3.8 and has at least a 1,700, I think it is, on his SAT, he's got free college at the University.
Yeah, Wyoming. Yep, because he's a Wyoming resident.
And either of those are doable for him because he's unlike me. He's using his brain for good.
Yeah, I forgot that.
When I was that age, I was using my brain for evil.
To the SATs, so now it's like what, out of 2,100 points instead of 1,600, 1,500.
Yeah, that's why it's 1,700. Because they added that. I think it's actually 2,200. It's not.
My score probably went up exponentially if you added. I had math and all the other shit and still did good, but if you added a fucking essay, crushed it.
Yeah, so it's free college, and pretty much Laramie is the University of Wyoming. Everywhere you drive in the center part of town is an extension of the University of Wyoming.
Well, Chuck went to Wyoming.
Yeah, it's
a big. They got good school there. It's not a crappy college. It's definitely a good college.
Yeah, no, there's good education there.
Was it Josh Allen or who was it that came out of the? It was just.
It's the kid that's the quarterback, I think, at the Cardinals.
Right, that's what I thought. Rosen. That's Josh Rosen.
That's it. He's the. And they've got billboards all over the place in Laramie about that kid. They're all, I mean, they're proud of him.
Man. I still want to get those Broncos tickets. They're dirt cheap. October 18th.
Let's wrap it up with some football talk.
Dude, I haven't even watched fucking preseason.
I refuse to buy anything NFL based anymore.
Well, I stream everything anyways. Or I use my.
Tell me what you stream through because I will not pay for it anymore.
Just type in NFL streams Reddit, and then they'll have a game thread, and it'll have every single game, and there'll be buff streams. There'll be user reviewed. There's also streamers that are verified that stream for every game. So buff streams and a few other ones that are always pretty good. But like Super Bowl and shit, I like to watch the smaller streams. Or I have an antenna too, right? So if you just go get a cable antenna for your house for $20 from a Best Buy, you're going to get HD.
Well, I can watch the regular games, but I'm not going to pay $400 to watch 16 Giants games from DirecTV when last year they cut us off.
So basically, you could have your TV on, your whatever games you wanted to watch, and the NFL Streams Reddit also has the one where they put all 32 all games that are on at the same time on one screen, and they just cut to the highlights of whoever's playing at that exact time. So you could have that in the side background. So you'd be watching. It just jumps to the game that's having a moment that's actually worth watching. So there's a shit ton of things.
This is what I'm sad about. For the first time in 27 years, I'm not playing fantasy football. My commissioner, the commissioner of our league, was just so done with dealing with the NFL shit that he flushed it. And he was he sent an email out 2 weeks ago saying, I don't have the heart to do this anymore.
Which is so weird because all these people that like watching football, when I go to bars and I have a couple friends like Teddy and a couple dudes that used to play for the Browns and shit, just local bars that I'd go drink at. We'd always just talk and hang out. And it's like, what are they doing to the game? He's like, why are they? I'm like, they're catering to people that don't watch it. It's like what the video game industry is doing. They come up with these games. They cater to people like the new Call of Duty, right? New Call of Duty says because they put women in World War II, they put trans in World War II, they made gay. It's like, and then the owner came out and said, then the developer came out and said, the head of the studio, if you don't like it, don't buy it. That's what he said to the gamers, and the gamers did. It has 83%, but they haven't even hit any targets. It's going to be an utter flop of a game. It's like, why are you going and taking a market that is male dominated, and you're going to try to cater to people that aren't in it? It just doesn't make any kind of telecommunications fiscal sense. It's like people that are in charge are fucking stupid. It's like NFL changing their jerseys every 4 weeks. We know who's in their marketing team. The Broncos had the same jersey for 12 years, and now all of a sudden they have 4 new jerseys in a year.
Yeah,
it's killing the fucking every aspect because they're trying to make it some international game. When it'll never be international. It'll be an elite international game. I definitely could see Spain. I could see it getting bigger and bigger as people play. It's an affluent sport for fucking sure.
I could see the Super Bowl traveling around to other countries, but I don't think
it'll be Canada.
It would be destructive to put a permanent team in London.
I beg to differ.
Because who the hell wants to travel there?
Canada. We got a whole CFL league that's got a 16 team. If we pull
they're terrible. They are terrible.
But if we went down to 4 teams and expanded, and there's a whole bunch of talent pool to expand to an international thing. It's Mexico City wants one, even though they're a shithole. Mexico City wants one, London wants one, and Canada's already got a whole squad. If you do it like in that movie Semi-Pro, if you whittle it down and let make it just 4 teams, and they get a pick from the stock of them, kind of like what the hockey expansion just was with the Knights. We could easily have an international squad with 2 Canada teams, a Mexico City team, and a London team. And yeah, I mean, they already travel there, Riffs. And I do agree that if we eliminated Thursday night football, and so teams aren't traveling to London and then having to come back and play again in 5 days, yeah, nobody wants to do that. But if we get rid of the things that football players already don't like, which is Thursday night football, because nobody wants to watch crappy Browns versus Bengals just because it's on Thursday. So you got rid of that shitty stuff.
You know what TV series I've really gotten into? It's on HBO right now. It's that Ballers.
Oh, with The Rock?
Yeah, that's good. Because it always plays in the off season. And then when it's off, because it's coming to an end in 2 weeks. When it comes to an end, then it's the season. But it doesn't ever get into the actual games. It gets into what goes on in the off season of the games.
I saw a couple episodes. I like The Rock a lot.
No, he was built to play that.
Actually, I don't think he can even call him The Rock anymore. He's just Dwayne Johnson, right?
Dwayne Johnson.
If I ever get to meet him, he's The Rock for me forever. And Doogie Howser's still Doogie Howser.
And who knocked him out of first place for highest paid actor this year? Didn't even make a movie last year. It's George Clooney. He made $298 million this year. Do you know what happened?
No.
This is fascinating. Him and 2 of his buddies, how he has that group of guys he's had friends with. 7 years ago, they started a tequila company.
Oh, yeah.
And a Russian oligarch bought their tequila company for $1.3 billion. So after taxes, they all pocketed $298 million. So he's the highest paid actor and didn't even make a movie for the last 2 years.
and his liberal policies too. He's classic. He just left where he was living over there because it's they're getting attacked by all these refugees, and then you come and so you moved your family out of there, and now you're gonna sit in here and pretend like those policies aren't fucked up. It's like, how two-faced can these actors be? Oh, we need these policies while you're running your families out of there, claiming that's the reason why. Fuck up.
Yep.
I think we made 290 though. Is that the Mark Wahlberg one?
No, Wahlberg wasn't one of the buddies. It was two non-actor friends. They were business buddies.
Mark Wahlberg's was that Aviano.
Avian. That's why they had it in that stupid show.
Entourage.
Yeah.
But Wahlberg and Peter Berg are both executive producers of Ballers. So Wahlberg,
good. I like it. I watched The Great White Hype again the other day.
Oh, Peter Berg is great. In fact, he played the head coach of the Miami Dolphins on the thing, and he was great because he was psychotic.
He's funny, dude.
They've got Larry Zonka as the assistant coach. It's funny.
Oh, they got Larry Zonka in it, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of ex-NFL players that are in that, and they're like,
it's gone on for a few seasons. I could definitely probably binge that sometime.
Yeah, that's what we did we binged it this summer. I came across it, and we went through all 5 seasons in 2 weeks. And you know who his business partner is? Rob Corddry.
Oh, really? I love Rob Corddry.
Oh yeah, and
so that's the Rock's business partner.
Yeah, that's his.
Oh, that's
his
funny. It's a funny dynamic, dude. That's a funny dynamic.
He's your typical drunk Jew. It's hilarious. Because he's never played a sport in his life, but he's the perfect partner for this show.
I gotta check it out. Yeah, I feel like that'd be a great duo. They'd be funny.
My mom likes that show too. She's all about that one and Power.
Oh yeah, okay, I know Power. That's with Terrence Howard, right? The wife beater.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's funny you brought up, because I was thinking of Kevin Spacey, and I just saw a meme. They showed Donald Trump's star in Hollywood completely demolished, and they said typical Hollywood mentality. Trump's is destroyed, but Kevin Spacey, who's now known as a pedophile, his is fine. It's in pristine shape.
There's a Kevin Spacey movie that he just had a small part in that just came out. They filmed 2 years ago.
$500 last.
I know. And the people are trying to come out. They're like, look, we made this movie 2 years ago. He's just got a small, but it's called The Billionaire Boys Club. It literally is the movie you would not want to see with Kevin Spacey because someone's getting fingered in it. And it made $10 a theater. That's less than 2 tickets.
Yeah.
So fucked up, man.
What happened to the guy that did all the vinyl stickers on the Hollywood Walk?
I don't think they ever caught him.
They never did it? Did they get him up? Because I heard he got them on there. Like they would have to power wash them up. Vinyl's not hard to get off. Yeah.
That's funny. Fuck him. I don't think. How would you catch the dude? You're gonna go subpoena.
The videos were all over the internet. How do they not catch the guy?
Wait, they said what was all over the internet? Oh, videos?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's all those cameras down there on all those businesses.
Yeah, they know who it is.
Oh, I would say that's art, right?
We did the other way.
I mean, is there not like is there not like a street expression? I guess graffiti is not street art, so that is a felony. A political protest? Maybe they also don't want to by arresting the guy, then they'd make it also an internet. They make it a story.
It's already a story.
Yeah, I guess. There's not. Everyone's just gets upset. I mean, the guy that broke the star is facing felony charges.
Well, yeah, because he destroyed the star.
Right.
It's a monument, isn't it? Isn't that a
considered?
Yeah, they're considered.
Because the city has to it's approved. It's not like you just get a star just because you pay. Like it's an actual process to get a star on that boardwalk.
I know it is, but that's because they made it not a national monument.
Oh, that's probably why West Hollywood voted to remove it, but they have no power to do so.
They can't do so.
Because it's I guarantee it's probably a mine. That makes sense. It's got to be some aspect of this, not historical, but it has a purpose. I mean, we cannot pretend that America made entertainment what it is. I mean, like it is a very big part of our culture. I mean, all the Jews that fled Germany that came here and fucking they built our film industry. The Lumiere brothers, fucking Edison Studios, like all of these things. Like this is it's a fucking cool industry. And then to flee out to California, it's definitely a a diverse history. I can see why it's a monument to, what was it, a trillion-dollar industry, multi-trillion-dollar industry
of pedophiles and.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. You got these douchebag directors coming out, and they're like, "Well, I got all the power, and I didn't know what to do with myself." It's like, is there no culpability anymore? Is there no goddamn self-responsibility? You just run around and I got power now, and then girls just submitted to me, so I did things that were wrong. It's like, when did morals go out the window? You must
have that moral compass because I got the money.
No, your moral compass doesn't disappear with money. Your moral compass must have never existed in the first place. You must have never questioned your own actions, never questioned your own vices, never questioned your own like lying to Avarice.
Look what you're describing. You're describing psychotic, psychotic.
I agree.
Psychopath. And what industries are psychopaths attracted to? Anything that has position and power.
True.
And so, of course, you're going to keep seeing this. That's why people keep saying, why doesn't Wall Street learn from their mistakes? Because Wall Street doesn't want to admit they made a mistake because they're led by psychos.
No, they just changed the market to suit their psychopath. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so it completely feeds that narcissistic
Do they even teach ethics anymore in business classes?
No.
I didn't think so. I thought ethics aren't even – I don't think
ethics in college anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's an even it's business ethics in general is not even mandatory anymore for any of these kind of business majors. It's literally about –
And then you produce lawyers who are adapted at writing contracts that have huge loopholes. And then if you have no ethics, you can exploit loopholes because it said, well, it didn't say it was illegal.
Right.
Might be unethical, but it's not illegal.
You know what? See, that's what I'm saying. Just people are so passive. A couple people like that, if you just pull a Fight Club, put a rubber band around their nuts and tell them if you ever fucking encounter anything like that again, you'll see them again.
Well, I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, I truly believe that in my mind, I think humans, because we've been on Earth a long time, I think we've risen up and fallen before.
Oh,
and I used to wonder why was it that gays and trans and women were never given the vote? And I think that, as we're seeing right now, if the world was to collapse, you'd have men of power come in power that'd be like, keep those people disempowered.
Yeah.
They fucked over a good thing.
Has nobody ever read history? Eunuchs have literally toppled governments since the dawn of time. They're the most sadist. They're sadists, and the eunuchs are our equivalent of our trans. They get into positions of power, and it becomes a sadist mentality of legislation, of debauch. It's a psychotic, because on the surface, I think that it should just be IQ based voting, but or contributor based voting. If you're taking from the public dollar in any respect, if you take welfare, if you take food stamps, if you're on the public dole on anything, you don't have a right to vote because you're obviously going to vote in favor of continuing to take money from other people who actually contribute.
Is Social Security considered public?
No, because you paid into Social Security.
What about those that are on Social Security disability?
Well, once again, then we're just pretending like that people are exploiting it. No, I think that most people on Social Security disability deserve it. Now, there are exploiters of it, and it's going to happen. But I think that benefits like those should not be the difference. The benefits that actually hurt other people would be subsistences, monetary subsistence, food subsistence, things like that. Things that we are saying are basic human rights that are more basic human rights than the right to speech, apparently.
If we're going to go that direction, I would also say that corporations that take corporate welfare are not allowed to influence government.
Yep. And they shouldn't even be able – that's actually – because how do we know that our money that we're giving them is not just going right back to the influence of our stuff?
You don't. It's the exact same problem with the schools. You don't know.
Well, the blockchain would prove that. A blockchain ledger would prove – I mean, if we had a transparent ledger where any human being could go do it and do their own audit, we would have a more true form of government.
We would, but they won't let that happen because then they'd have checks and balances.
Hey, last time I checked, France didn't let a lot of things happen. Britain didn't let us have taxation without representation. A lot of people don't allow you to do stuff. And I think when people realize that what exactly is a government in power, we're currently in taxation without representation right now. We just saw with Bernie Sanders and the DNC. We see it with gerrymandering of our districts. We see it with Republicans coming in and carving up a district so that it currently completely stays red no matter what. because they know they got their actuaries. They know that if they make these votes go this way, this district would never affect this district now. So yeah, I mean, do we just allow rampant corruption because it's happening? Or like, what point does an entire population put their fucking foot down and say, no, roads aren't being helped, our healthcare is in fucking disaster, our schooling's in disaster, our job market's in disaster, our social security's in disaster, and your pensions are in disaster. And you keep asking for more and more and more and more and more with no transparency, and people do it? And like, at what point do you just realize that people are lemmings, and that maybe like true individual, like just checking the fuck out is probably the only true form of freedom and self-government?
I have a drawer back.
It'd be nice for you guys to have some.
Well,
Yeah.
we're coming up on 2 hours. It's been good. I got to get on with my day.
Okay. Andy,
So
you guys
I'm-
out?
Yeah, I got
Doors have some.
It's good seeing that you're alive. I get texts from your Aunt Laura. She's like, have you heard from Jarek? And I'm like, yes, I've heard from
Shit, I gotta
Jarek.
text her mom. It's fucking the woods. I'm not going to the Adirondacks.
I mean, you did talk about going to that rainforest in Oregon,
Yeah, in Washington.
Washington.
I have a 45.
I'm not a drawer person.
I mean, what's gonna happen? I got a dog.
You have Kona the killer pup.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Kona just is the most worthless dog. Like
He's got a good bark, though. He's got a good bark.
Yeah, he's got a very good bark. He's got a terrifying. He's a big dog.
He is.
He looks like a German Shepherd.
We're
Yeah.
together here. Yeah, I know.
So
I'm like, I think it felt
you just need to get some ketchup and put it around his. Actually, I saw the perfect thing to get him. It was a bone with a tennis shoe on it, so it looks like he's chewing on a human leg.
That's funny.
And I saw it as a meme today. It said, "Get this for your dog and scare the shit out of your friends." And it was a big old huge beef bone, and somebody had stuck a tennis shoe on the end of it, so it looked like they were gnawing on a human leg.
That's funny.
Yeah, get that for him and have him be chewing on that outside your tent. You'll
The
be
thing about
fine.
Kona is he takes his bones and then he puts them somewhere, and he gets pissed if you touch them. He doesn't chew them. He's a weird dog.
Fire clothes.
What's he do how does he get pissed at you? Does he come over and pee on you?
He comes over and barks at you. If you're like, all you have to do is go over and say, "Hey, what's this?" And you'll hear him go running from his entire fucking bedroom, skittering like Scooby-Doo down the fucking hardwood floor, and then running out to bark at you not to touch his shit. His squeaky toy and his bone. Don't touch those shits. You can throw the ball. He likes to throw the ball. But if you try to throw the squeaky toy, he just barks in your face. Like, don't touch that one.
pediatrician actually said.
Sounds like you when you were 5.
What do you mean, like father, like son? You know, me and little Cum, we go back.
So just my advice to you is find a way weekly to say, hey, I'm still
Of
around.
course, I'm going to find a way weekly. You think I'm going to miss football?
Yeah. Well, I don't mean me. You mean talk to your aunt and your mom.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. I'm not missing football, man. Not happening. So I don't care about Monday Night Football, and I don't care about Thursday unless it's the Broncos, but I sure should care about Sunday.
I'll tell you what team you might want to put on your watch list, because I think they're going to have a great season, is the Utah Utes. They're making some noise in the Pac-12.
I'm always watching the Utah Utes. One, it's the Pac-12. I love the Pac-12. It's one of my favorite divisions. Everyone talks about the SEC. We
returned everything except 9 seniors. We only lost 9 seniors.
That's not bad.
No, and they're firing. We went and watched their scrimmage. It was pretty
So they only had to
impressive.
replace 9 starters. So half a squad, pretty much. No, not even half. Yeah,
Not even half.
yeah, that's not
Because
bad.
it was pretty much 4 on offense and 5 on defense.
Nice, that's not bad.
That'll be
So-
interesting.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that
It's actually about to be my favorite time of the year. It's football, then it's hockey, and it's just fucking beautiful. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
So let's start thinking about what we want to do maybe for the holidays.
Unabomber's gonna have to think about that one.
Well, you're not going to want to be in the cold climate. I can guarantee you. You're going to be
No,
wanting
no.
to bring yourself down to the Arizona.
Well, I just went and registered. I had to register all my cars in AZ anyway, so I'll probably fucking swing over to the zones.
Well, then it looks like we're probably going to be in November for the baptism.
And Zach's getting a house. He wants to grow some weed, so I'll be ferrying Zach's his equipment out there, And because I got some.
So he's gonna resume down in Arizona.
Yeah, he wanted to rent a house. I told him to get somewhere close to us.
I'm just going to give Zach the tent that has 2 lights. There's the electricity costs are negligible down there. He has friends where he could piece it out and make. He already said he can make good money piecing out 2 pounds. You know, if he only pulls 1.5 pounds off 2 lights, or even just 1 pound, piecing that shit out, he'd make up. That's what Chance is doing. It's like you got the equipment. Might as well make a couple G's out of it, and then if you never do anything with it ever again, who cares?
Right.
But he needs to make a couple grand out of it because he could sell it to so many people. They're like his friend Liz, right? She's got a medical card, but the state says she can only grab 2 ounces a month. That's it. And she's like, or 1 ounce a month or something. Like she's like, I smoke more than that. She's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And so that's why she had to buy it from us.
Well, that's because it's her and Spiker. It's not just her.
But I know, but what I'm getting is like, because Gary, Gary's got like a 2 pound one because he's actually got an issue, So it's scalable to it's unlike California where when you got a medical card, they didn't give a shit. You could walk in and be like, I'll take everything you got. And like in Arizona, they're trying to make it like, oh, well, it's based on your needs. What do you really need for your pain medication? Blah, blah, blah. So Zach's got.
How do they gauge that?
I think exactly.
You get a stupid bureaucrat. Which is what's problem with doctors. Doctors hate insurance companies.
Liz should have just said her pain threshold was a 10. Because what are they?
Let me share you a quick story. I went to my doctor yesterday. Because of what happened in June, I go for monthly checkups and everything's good, thumbs up. But he had me take my shirt off, and he's like, you got quite a few moles, Larry. Have you ever? And I said, yeah. I go, I used to have my doctor regularly take them off, and I said, and then. The insurance, the last time I did it, they refused to pay, and they said that it was cosmetic. And that my doctor goes, I hate insurance companies. He goes, they think they can tell a doctor what's cosmetic and what's not cosmetic. Because what it was up here by my neck, and I had it removed, and it had changed shape, but that wasn't good enough for them. They thought that it was in a place that it was cosmetic because it was visible.
Oh, fuck you. It's like with breasts. Yeah. After breast. To get your breast reconstructed, it's cosmetic, even though the doctor had to take your breast. Now it's cosmetic and insurance.
Oh, yeah, because a woman lost him in a mastectomy for a breast.
It's like, how disgusting. And now a woman's got to feel like she can't wear a bathing suit. Like, I remember going with mom afterwards, and she was all embarrassed before she got her surgery because, she was like, she's like, it's cosmetic. I got to pay for it myself. Got to do this. And so, she's like, I don't want it to look odd. I don't want to have big fake breasts, but I want to have normal. I want to be normal again. It's like, it's dehumanizing. And once again, motherfucking blockchain, the fact that we do not have insurance captive funds that are publicly owned shocks me. The fact we don't have car insurance, catch funds, I don't get it. Like it's just we're coming to a point where technology is outpacing bureaucratic thought. And so we're going to get to a point where someone's going to come up with something, and there's going to be a captive insurance fund that actually is recognized, or there's going to be a car insurance fund that's recognized where you'll be able to pull money out because you put so much in. I mean, if you pay $40,000 for a car that's worth $15,000, there's a fucking problem for that, for insurance perpetually. If you've been doing it's a system of indentured slavery.
I have literally been a member of Geico since you were born. So I've been a member of Geico for 32 years. And every time I call them, they're like, oh, thank you for being such a long-term member. I have never filed a claim. I've never had an accident in my entire adult life. I think how much money has Geico made off of me in 32 years?
And you're paying for the people.
And I'm paying for all of the people who have accidents.
That's why a captive insurance fund, I mean, honestly, there needs to be culpability for people. If you're on your 3rd or 4th wreck and you have 4, speeding violations in excess of 25 miles an hour, there's a problem with your driving,
Yeah.
And there's a problem, like, you should be coming out way more out of pocket, and it should be lowering the other people's. It doesn't, though. They just raise one person's premium and go, well, we're still – it became a business. When the hell is insurance a business?
You just argued why I was always against Obamacare, because people who took good care of themselves now are thrown into a pool where they have to pay out for people who are eating shitty food.
Yeah, I made this new short. I'm working on this one basically where my insurance fund is exactly like that, but it puts you in tontines based off of your lifestyle choices. So a 33-year-old heavy drinker and drug user could get placed in the same tontine as like a 78-year-old grandma. and then the last 10 people alive got their payouts. It's like a fake.
I'm a strong believer. You know, we already tax alcohol. It's like we should be putting a tax on sugary foods and high fat foods.
They have though in certain states, in New York City. And what it does is it made. I was just reading an article about it. It made a case of soda, like $7 or $8, and then it's only by small counties, right? And so then they just literally go a couple blocks over and buy soda from the one that's not part of those taxation.
Right.
Exactly.
So it is crippling businesses with those taxes, unless it's a.
But it's got to be done. It's got to be done at the federal level.
Exactly. It's got to be a blanket policy. Otherwise, you're just going to now. Here's my thing about taxing of vice goods. I don't think that you should be able to tax vices. I don't think that just because because you want to live, you want to drink, you want to do things, we're already overtaxed. We pay property taxes, we pay income tax. We don't even get a write-off for houses or our transportation to and from work. And yet,
well, the problem is those people put themselves into the emergency rooms because they don't have insurance. So it comes out of we end up paying for it one way or another.
Right. Or hold those. There's a lot of people using fake social security numbers, and they're not exactly citizens of this country that are using those. There's not an average person going to the emergency room for a small thing. They're going to a.
There are some. There are some.
They're going to go to a $30 clinic. They're going to go to one of those instant check clinics. People going to the emergency rooms are illegal immigrants.
Not all of them. That's a hit or miss question. Because there's some that'll go for the flu, which you do nothing for. They'll go to the emergency room.
And people, you have to see them?
Yeah. You can't kick anyone out of an emergency room.
No, absolutely. I mean, because the flu symptoms could be something indicative of something way worse. And now what? When they come in and they don't have insurance, they just say, I don't have insurance? I'm here for the flu?
Say that I'm on Cobra or I'm on Access, and then everything's free.
But what if you're not on Cobra Access? You just say you are.
They sign you up for it, and everything's free.
Oh. That's pretty weird. So it's not really free. It's coming out of your guys' pockets.
Pretty much.
This is why a tax protest is what people need. People need to basically reduce what they owe. I'm not saying stop working but take out, make sure you're putting almost all your money into investments. Make sure you're putting your money into your house. Make sure so the government can never touch it. These fuckers don't deserve to tax our shit. They don't deserve the money. And the fact that people are still making money hand over fist and handing it over is a shock. It doesn't benefit anyone. It just seems like it's a police thing. I mean, it really doesn't benefit anybody. It benefits an oligarch group, a caste system making money off of money.
But the problem is when you have that type of system, like Stephanie didn't have insurance for a long time. She was on Access, but she didn't have insurance. She wasn't working. She was living with me in my apartment and was going to school. And she was really sick. So it's a hard system to fight because she needed it. But then there's people that don't, that have 12 kids that don't need this and still go for checkups that way.
Yeah.
Here's the other end of it, Andy, that I'm getting nervous of because, I'm going to be 65 in 6 years. So I have to leave my private insurance and go to Medicare.
You don't have to leave your private. I would tell you not to.
Okay. So what my big worry is eventually, let's say when I'm 70, when I finally do retire, I'm not a big proponent of prescription medicine. I don't believe in it. I believe in eating right foods and doing, the right exercises and things like that. And I'm hearing stories now of people being told they have to take their meds.
Those are like if you
I don't want to be put in a system where the government tells me what I have to do.
So this is where a lot of people get that misconstrued. If you have a stroke, you need to be on aspirin every day, period. You probably should be taking a cholesterol medication. And I have this argument with Eric like every 5 months because he'll just take my grandmother off medications. And I have to, it blows my mind that you would rather kill yourself than deal with it, because then the government's going to actually have to step in with Medicare and treat you for you not wanting to take care of yourself. Diet and exercise aren't going to save anything when you're already too far gone.
And and I agree with Andy on that, because if you are taking government money for healthcare, you should have to do what the government says for your health care. If you don't want to do what they tell you to do, be on private insurance.
Well, he can be.
You're not going to take public dollars and then say how you want to spend it. Or what
on private insurance and Medicare and have it as a secondary, and that's really the better way to do it.
So what, you could use your Medicare to pretty much cover your extra copay costs?
Medicare is your primary, and your secondary is your private insurance. Then you don't have to worry about all this other stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, gang. I'm going to get ready to go because that movie starts in a half hour.
What's that until we die? Sounds cool.
All right.
Love you guys. Talk to you later.
Later, Rich.
Bye.
Later, Eddie. Tell Steph hi. Or she's already there. She hears me.
He's hearing the whole thing.
Later, Steph.
Bye, Steph.
Later, Jerica. Sleep well, my little angel.